Today, Kevin is going to walk us through 5 steps to leverage and grow your network. Hey, what's up, guys? Donnie Bovine here, CEO and founder of Success Champions Networking, hanging out with my buddy Kevin Snow, the sales automation tactician and genius, and we're going to dive into it. 5 steps how to leverage and grow your network. Kevin, I'm kicking it over to you, bud.
Hey, so this is something we get asked all the time is how do you actually leverage your network and how do you make it so it's just not a bunch of activity and there's actually results? So I put together 5 things that will help you do that. So the first one on my list is understand what you need and what you can give. And
what do you mean?
So thank you for asking. It's, a lot of people go into networking with just this whole really open-ended concept. It's like walking to a giant room and hoping something happens and not knowing where you need to go to get a drink or go to, where the bathroom is. It's like, oh, I'm here. Things need to happen. So you need to understand what you need, what you're trying to get out of your networking. Are you looking for strategic partners? Are you looking for clients? Are you looking for introductions? Are you looking to get access to a certain person? Are you looking for access to information? And then what are you able to give? What can you provide? What are your skills? How can you help other people? What connections, who's in your network that you can make introductions to? And it's just kind of having that self-awareness of what situation you're in and what you want to get done and how you can help other people get their stuff done.
And I go back to my first days of networking, and the main thing that I wanted at an after-hour event was get to the fucking bar, right? How fast can I get there? How quickly can I get a damn drink? And I just know when I first started, I had no fucking clue what the hell I was really supposed to do there. Meet there, sell shit, or meet people and sell shit. How did you go about specifically coming up with what the main goal and objective is? Because I got there out of desperation. I wasn't closing deals, so I had to flip the script to make something work.
Well, and I think that varies based on where you're networking and where you're at in your life. So when I was doing corporate sales and I was networking, it was all about finding clients. It was getting in front of the right people, getting introduced to the right people, becoming visible so people saw me as a resource. And that was my whole purpose. When I became a business owner, and after I did the major shift after the deployment, now my reasons for networking changed. I was going there to network with peers, and I was looking for partners that did the things that I didn't do that I needed to be able to introduce my clients to, and vice versa. So it's really understanding what you need right then, and that could change from day to day. One day I might be going and really needing clients and wanting to look for prospects and looking for potential clients and partners. But the next day I really need to figure out how to do this. And I might be trying to find that thought leadership thing and finding someone who can answer my questions.
I like that. I as I went into the rooms and started talking to people and figuring out, what I needed, I had to get to the right caliber of people. I had to get to the people that were like legitimately out there building their businesses and not just a bunch of people. So this is why I quit going to the after hours, because they were fun. I drank a lot, but they weren't getting me to business.
So, and that leads into my number 2, network up.
Okay.
So find people that strengthen your network. So you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to get out of the people who are just like you, doing exactly the same things you are. And you need to move upstream. You need to hang out where the successful
Is this like moving on up? Isn't that the name of the show?
Yep.
Move
Jeffersons.
Jeffersons. That's
Jeffersons.
it. Moving on up.
one of like the 6 shows that spun off from Archie and
Archie
All in the
Bunker.
Family.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the most
You know.
most successful shows of all time.
Yeah, but how do you find the moving on up? I mean, I ended up joining the private clubs. I ended up joining, associations. I listened to one of our episodes not too long ago about you ended up drinking with the one band that night. Well, who was that? What
Corn.
was the name? Corn. That's what it was. That was like a random happenstance, right? That you ended up drinking with Corn. But how do you find this up leveled, network?
Well, it's understanding who you need to be with and who those people are that, what I have written down for my notes is who are ahead of you in the game. Who are those people that are 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, and what types of events are they doing and where are they hanging out? Are they going to the after bars? No, the after hours events. No, they're CEOs. They don't do after hour events. They do breakfast. And it's understanding.
Yeah, but dude, so here's what I know me when I was first doing it, I was so intimidated by these motherfuckers. Like I was a young dude out there networking, trying to talk to these CEOs and everything. That shit didn't come naturally to me. You know, Walking into a room full of CEOs, that was in my mind above my fucking pay grade. Because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any skins on the wall to tell myself I justified being in a room, but yet I'm selling or supposed to be selling, I should say, at that point. These $50,000 to $100,000 printing projects when I first got into networking. Uh, it took a lot of work to get over that.
Well, and if you're not uncomfortable networking, you're networking with the wrong crowd. You're not networking up.
I like that. I like that. So,
Yeah, and that was
because I
something.
will say, as I went early on, dude, you go. I went to all the happy hours and things where I knew people. You walk in the room and you're like, "Oh, there's my people. Thank God."
Yeah,
Right, and then you find
Donnie.
yourself. So,
You were literally Norm on Cheers. Donnie walks
right.
into the networking event. Donnie.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. But it wasn't getting me anywhere because it was the same people, same level, doing the same thing. And it's because this is sound conceited as fuck, but I was the biggest dog in the fucking room, right? So there was literally nobody for me to be intimidated by to have conversations. So I love the
but
idea that it's got to be uncomfortable.
then when you started going to the Cattlemen's Club, is that Fort Worth Club?
Fort Worth Club.
You're in Texas, so I assume it's the Cattlemen's Club. But
There is a Cattlemen's Club.
Fort Worth Club. Now you're around all those people. You were uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So, and then you were in the right place because now you were forcing yourself to interact with people that you wouldn't normally interact with. So you have to be in those circles of people that you normally wouldn't hang out with.
Well, and I think that goes right
and
along with the
that's
clients you go after. Same thing. You got to go after clients that intimidate you.
exactly. And even when you're at a big event, if you see yourself gravitating to the people you already know, that should be a signal to you. It's like, all right, I'm wasting my time. I need to go talk to the people I don't know. And
Right.
I need to get into those new conversations. And it's really key when you are entering these new areas and you're getting in front of people that you're uncomfortable networking with because they're ahead of you, that you remember, all right, I'm not here to sell and pitch them. I'm here to initiate a relationship and to become visible to them. So, leave your business cards, leave your pamphlets, leave all that stuff behind, and
Well,
just start having conversations.
I think the first time I went to TCU for a breakfast networking thing, right? I didn't do the college thing. You did the college thing. I didn't, man. So walking on that campus was almost a little bit fucking intimidating, and we were doing this breakfast thing and, the mayor of Fort Worth there, you have the city council, you have all these hard hitting CEOs. And, I'm in a suit, which I'm always uncomfortable in a fucking suit. And, I'm supposed to go in there and strike up conversations with people. And I'll tell you, I was intimidated by the room itself, but it was funny was as I started talking to people, I realized that most of those motherfuckers were as intimidated by the situation as I was. They were just as nervous as I was. So there was some relief in there, but I, it takes some cojones to walk into certain rooms and be confident that you're supposed to be there.
Yeah, and as the introvert in this group of people, I get that, and
He
it's
almost said relationship.
I was gonna say in this relationship, I'm like, no, that's gonna make Donnie uncomfortable. Um, yeah, so as an introvert, I get that because I am uncomfortable in most social situations and having to be the one that instigates all the stuff. So, but
Well, and I think that's a fascinating point. 'Cause I don't think most people who listen to the podcast know how much of an introvert you actually are. Because, sitting here, it's just like you and me talking, you carry yourself very, very, very well. In most business situations, you'll carry yourself very, very well. But, given the perfect world, you will sit and just be quiet and listen to everything and be completely content because of the introvert nature of yourself. And, so I'm more fascinated to understand, how did you get into those bigger rooms, those leveled up rooms, and uh, interact and engage with people?
I'm nervous to tell people because we preach the whole concept of being authentic. And I had to go into those rooms and not be me for a while.
Dude, it works, right? You've said that about getting on stages, though, right?
Yep.
That you've got to become somebody else, and then it's easier to act that role.
And so on stage, it was a little bit different because I just became, it was more the Dwayne the Rock Johnson, get bigger, louder, add
Yeah,
more treble, more
turn it up the volume
bass,
a little
turn
bit. Yeah.
turn up the volume, and just get more.
If you
Of
guys haven't seen that, he's referencing a movie called "Fighting with My Family." There's a scene with Rock that Dwayne Johnson, where he walks through how Dwayne Johnson became The Rock and how to be that role. It's a fucking great scene. Just YouTube it.
So that's how I am on stage. But when I started the networking and I started going to big rooms, especially because a lot of my early networking was for, when I was doing the big corporation stuff, and we'd be at trade shows. So I'd be in, convention centers packed with thousands of people walking around. And I even then I hated just sitting at the booth. I wanted to go out and just draw people in and do stuff, which is very unintroverted of me. But I hated the hiding in the booth thing. So I had to become the stereotypical outside salesperson. And I literally had to put on a different persona and act completely different and get in a completely different
Tell me you
mindset.
gave yourself a different name? So now you were like, Steve or something,
No, I still had to be Kevin because it'd been really hard to follow up with people. It's like,
or
hi,
you put
it's
on an
Kevin.
accent.
You met my you met my twin Steve at the conference. Oh, you two must be identical twins. Yep, totally. Except I'm the introvert and he's the extrovert. I'm the smart one. Yada yada yada. But no, I literally had to pretend I was that introvert, and I had to flip a switch. Otherwise, I'd be that person that I always talked about when I do networking training, about the person standing around the outside of the room, trying to figure out who they can go talk to. And that was the other big thing for me once I started being the networking guy and working with other networking businesses on how to network. I kind of had to be able to work a room.
Right.
So, and I had to learn how to be in
what a
those
cool trap, though, to know that you had to teach it, so you actually had to learn how to do it.
Yep.
Which is a fascinating thing.
One of my friends in the UK did a presentation at a conference I was at on how to work a room. And he literally taught us the formations people get into in open networking. So you could tell what level of networker you needed to be able to enter that conversation. So, like a close two where the two people are facing each other and they're really close together and they're talking. Yeah, that's a private conversation. You don't join in. An open two is where they're facing out a little bit and they're not facing each other, but they're kind of at an angle. They're looking for
Dude,
people to
you
network.
introverts crack me the fuck up. That is the silliest shit I ever heard in my life, man. You
Yeah.
know, I can picture you looking at a fucking room of people going, "Where are their feet?"
Well, it's
Right? Are
literally
they?
just how they're standing, and it's literally
No, you
looking.
just walk up. They're networking. Fuck their private conversation. Business is supposed to be done. That's the funniest shit. I never thought about how that. Now I do know how to look at a room and go, okay, who do I need to get to? But I do it by disc personalities. But I never thought about how the conversation's going and by how they're
Well,
talking to each
and
other.
then you have the size of the groups. If you have a group of 3 or 4 people that are kind of in a circle talking, it's more likely that someone like you will walk up and join the conversation than a more introverted person. You have to be a much more confident networker to join in that circle and just jump in and start talking. Everyone knows you would literally just jump in the middle and become the center of attention, but
Well,
not
but there's
all
a
of
way
us
to
can do
do
that.
that. No, but there's a way. I think even
Oh,
an
there's
introvert
totally
could
a
do
way
it.
to do it. Yeah, I've done it, but not right away.
Well, the trick
I
is
had to learn.
is right. The trick is you just got to find the moment where you can fit into the story. So whatever they're talking about, you just got to find your moment to fit into the story and grab the story and continue the story. So if they're talking about football, which I don't know shit about football, you've got to find your angle. And, if you caught a highlight of the game or something as they're talking about football, you can just literally slide in and go, but did you see the third play on the fourth quarter where dumbfuck fumbled the ball and then it cost him, and then now you're into the conversation. It's the same way of dating, same way of picking up chicks.
Donnie would comment on hey, did you see their new uniforms? I don't know
Right,
if I like those
right.
colors.
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this foosball you're talking about is. Too funny, too funny. So I know we've done 1 and 2, which is understand what your network, what you need to, and what you need to give, how to network up. What's the third one in this?
Don't silo yourself with just one type of networking.
God, I was guilty of that.
Yeah, and everyone does. It's like, ooh, and it comes really heavily with people who are involved in certain networking organizations, where it's like, oh, I network here, and that's like 85% of my business. I'm like, you're dumb. Why are you only networking one place? The whole idea of networking. I had this conversation with someone today. Is that you're out and about and you're meeting all kinds of people and you're having really cool conversations that are allowing you then to make introductions to other people, to these new people that you just met. If you are
Well,
not out introducing yourself to people and getting in front of new people in different places, you're not going to have people to introduce to the rest of your network, and you're not going to be useful to them.
well, I think there's a plus and minus here. So I started off with one style of networking and realized that I got to a place where I knew everybody, right? And so I'm like, okay, I've got to fucking get out of that network and go be everywhere. Well, the next thing you know, now I'm doing all the networking and I'm not getting any business because I'm doing all the networking. So I think there has to be, and I hate the word balance, but there has to be
Yep.
a fucking logical thought process to what's realistically you're able to do, because if all you're doing is fucking networking, you literally have no business because you're only networking.
Well, and when I say don't silo yourself with just one type of networking, that doesn't mean like spend 40 hours a week networking at all this stuff. It means have a mixture of things that you're doing. You might have your normal networking group that you meet with on a weekly basis. Hopefully that's SCN and not one of the other ones. But then maybe you
Unless you're
also have,
multi-level marketing, and then it's not
yeah,
SCN. But go
yeah,
ahead.
then it's one of the other ones. But then maybe you also serve on a nonprofit board. So you have your board meeting and maybe some volunteer work with them once a month. Maybe you also are a member of Kiwanis or the Rotary or Lions or Shriners or whatever service
I think if
organization.
you
You
said
meet
if
them.
you're fucking old, go join Kiwanis, the Rotary, or whatever Lions
There
Club.
are a lot of people that are not old that are in Shriners. So
That
thank you
must
very
be a
much.
Yankee thing. So
Shriners, the
I don't know
circus
about
people.
Shriners, but I don't know about Shriners. Those are the people that drive the little cars, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep,
I
they
don't. I
put
don't.
on the circus. They have the fez. They have a children's
They
hospital.
have the what?
Their hats are called fezzes. the red cone shake
You
hat.
fucking
That's a
Yankees
fucking
and your
fez.
goddamn funky names for shit.
That's literally what it's called. We didn't come
What
up
what
with it.
what do you call a beanie?
Okay, that's a Canadian term. They call it a toque. I use the word with you just because it annoys you.
Right. Right.
um, but
No.
yeah, I just want you to have that mixture of different opportunities where you're getting in front of people. You know, it's still only 2 or 3 hours a week, but you're not, you know, but you're getting exposed to different situations and different people.
Cool. And then what's the fourth one?
Number 4 is don't hold back from asking for help. So a
Um,
lot
th-
of
th- Go ahead. Go.
no,
This was
you
huge for
say
me.
your thought and then I'll go.
Yeah, I mean, um, I didn't know what networking was really what I was supposed to do for the longest time is when I first got into it. And I learn best through osmosis by fucking doing things. And so I just had to fuck it up enough to figure it out. But then I learned, like I did with most of my sales, that there's somebody who's kicking ass at it. And the more often I found the person who's kicking ass at it and asked them what they're doing, the faster I was able to, learn to leverage the network as a whole. That was my 2 cents.
Yeah, and the thing in business, especially with guys, is that you don't want to show weakness by asking for help,
Right.
and you don't want to show that you're not as in charge and in control of your business and its destiny as you want to be by telling someone, hey, I don't know how to do this, or I'm curious about this, and getting input. That's one of the cool things about having a really great network and spending time building it, is that if you've spent time networking up and building relationships, you can call those people and say, hey Donnie, I have a question here.
Yeah.
I have this going on and I'm not sure what I should do. I'm thinking this, but that I don't know if that feels right. And then get that feedback. That is a great way to build that relationship with those people, because they get to help you. And it's not, it doesn't cost them money. They don't have to give up their reputation by introducing someone, but they get to be involved and feel and build that relationship. And now they get to know you better, so there it becomes easier for them to make those introductions down the road. So whether you're asking for help on a social media site and you're saying, hey, I'm looking for feedback on this, or you're calling people directly, you need to use your networking tools to ask people to engage and to help you with stuff. It just makes you
Yep.
human, and it makes it much more relatable.
Yeah. I remember the first time I was shocked that people really thought that I was good at all this was when a gentleman that I really, 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 really expected. He still is a custom home builder. He called me up one day and he said, "Hey, can I buy you breakfast?" And I'm like, "Sure." So met him out for breakfast, and we spent the entire time, and he was asking me how I've been able to build the network locally like I had, and one of the things that I did, and he was damn near grilling me on the process, and I won't use his name. And I finally said, "Why are you asking me all this?" He goes, "Dude, you're one of the best in the game I've seen do this." And he goes, because we were with the Builders Association, he goes, "I've never seen anybody get inside of association like ours, like you have, and be able to leverage this association as fast as you've done it." He goes, 6 months you were sitting on the board, of an association that you knew absolutely nothing about. He goes, "I'm just fascinated by how you pulled it off." And I said, my biggest answer once he told me that was, "Dude," I said, I got to make a living, and I'm not making a living if I'm just flying by, floating in." I said, "If I'm going to do something, I'm going to try and take over, because the guy at top always gets all the good stuff." So, but it was cool to see somebody who and I still respect the shit out of, pull me aside and ask me all the questions.
Yeah, it's always cool when that happens. And that's a cool thing about when you ask someone for that help, you might be giving them that ego boost
Yeah,
right when they need it. And
yeah,
you don't even know that what they have going on in the world, that you saying, hey, I really want your feedback because I respect, what you've done. And they're going to be like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And you can have a huge impact on them just by asking them the question.
very cool. And number 5.
Number 5, take control of the relationship.
What do you mean?
So I don't mean this in the toxic, domineering, you will do this and you will do that way. I really mean that you need to spend time working on it. You need to control what's happening and not just say, oh, I met this really cool person we met and then hope stuff happens. You need to purposely work the relationship. And, we talk a lot about next steps. You get done with one meeting. All right, so what are we doing next? And then what happens if we don't do those things by the time we say they're going to do? And really, purposely working on how do we keep expanding the relationship and doing more and more for each other. Because if you don't, we all get busy and you're not going to be top of mind. So, how are you following up? What do those look like? How are you engaging with them on social media? What types of activities are you doing that's going to keep both of you in front of each other? But you have to actively do it. So you got to take control over how you build the relationship.
Yeah, I think the when you first meet with somebody, there's a God, I don't know what the right word of it for it is, but there's this measuring of each other, if you will, as you're forming that relationship. And there was a group of people that I hung out with in Fort Worth that between the couple of us, we knew everybody in town. And everybody got to come hang out and play, but there was almost an inner circle of people that, and they got to that inner circle only because of they played the game the same level as we played the game. And I think there's a and measuring is the only word I can come up with of when you meet somebody, you're trying to understand, is it talk or are they able to actually open doors? Are they able to actually get you to the people you need to get to? Are they a true connector of people type person, or are they strictly a taker? And because a lot of people, I think, out the gate will come across as they're a connector, but then you'll find out they're strictly a taker. They're not actually opening doors for people, even though they're like, hey, man, my favorite thing in the world to do is network and connect people. So there's almost a measuring that happens to understand people. So I like this idea of controlling the relationship. I think you need to, in that, know specifically what type of people you're looking for and how to stack them up against the type of people you really want to hang out with that's going to open your Rolodex, because even takers have a place, right? If you know takers, then uh, you can understand how, or figure out, I should say, how to leverage them and actually get to their network. But that controlling the conversation. I don't know if it's better said guiding the conversation, but uh, all in all, I like that kind of measuring of what you're doing with that relationship, because that goes back to I still rank my network.
Oh, yeah, and you want to be finding people that are going to strengthen your network. And if you're
Yeah.
not continually assessing who's in your network and the time you're spending with them based on what it's providing to you and the rest of your network, you really risk spending a ton of time on unprofitable and unproductive stuff.
Yeah.
If you aren't looking at, all right, so how do I continually improve my network? There are people that are going to come into your network that only need to be there for a limited amount of time, and that's okay. There are other people that are going to come into your network that are going to be there forever, and that's cool too. But it's understanding, for me, when I look at my network, it's understanding, all right, so where do I have deficiencies in people that I can introduce? What are the people in my network? What are my clients asking for that I can't find them? That I
Mm,
need to. I'm
I
either
love that.
reaching that I'm reaching too far out into the outer circles of my network to find people. And then it's like, all right, so how do I find badasses that I can bring into that close point that can be in my special operations team, that are my go-to people that I put on my website and that I give to my best clients because I know they're going to do badass things for them. So it's, or sometimes like, like you recently was starting your little CEO. mastermind group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you needed specific things in your network to help us keep pushing SCN and Success Champions forward. So you went out and found it and you made
Yep.
that. That's the
Yep.
same concept. And it's measuring. And if you just pick the first two CEOs that you found, you risk not having the right ones in that group. So you had to do the measuring. You had to
Yeah.
make sure you had the right people in that group.
Yeah. So, dude, I love this. What a great list. So, there you go, guys. 5 different things that you can do to grow and leverage your network. First one was understand what you need and what you can give. Second one, network up. Third one, don't silo yourself. Fourth one, don't hold back asking for help. And fifth one, take control of your relationships. You know, if you guys haven't visited a Success Champion networking chapter, man, get your butts over there. It's legit next level networking. We've literally changed how the world networks. And you can visit any one of our chapters for free. Just head over to successchampionnetworking.com. And as always, guys, if you got any tips, tricks, any value out of this thing, please do us a favor. Make sure you're subscribed. Share this out. Leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this podcast. And dude, love you, mean it. See you. Bye.